this is going to be a review of both the Vancer Pollux and the Vancer Castor, two mice that I touched on in an initial impressions video, but this is going to be a full review, obviously a bit more in-depth. And yeah, I'm going to get right into it. Vancer is a Chinese company. Regarding availability in the US, it's going to be on Addis Inc. and Lethal Gaming Gear, and this regular version is going to be $90, but in the future they have a pro version coming out, which will be $110 with some sort of better wireless tech. I kind of think about this as a G-Wolves mouse in the fact that it's like not a finished product, and a lot of the problems will likely be addressed in upcoming batches. But yeah, first things first, specs-wise, these mice are both 57 grams. They have 3395 sensors, and the main switches are TTC Golds. In my original video, I said I thought they were Kill 8.0s. I didn't really think that, but I just didn't know what they were. Turns out they're TTC Golds, and they have a very light and bouncy feeling. I would not say it's a very like firm or tactile response. You can see that there is a good amount of pre-travel, and I would say like just tensioning wise, these aren't the highest quality clicks, but they get the job done at the end of the day. By default, they are 12 ms debounce, and once I lowered that, the response did feel a bit nicer on them. I can't say the same about the side buttons, honestly. On the Castor, the bottom side button especially just does not feel implemented well. It's very mushy. Both of the side buttons have a scratchy feeling. I would say something like the Pulsar X2 or the Viper V2 Pro just has much better and higher quality feeling side buttons. But if for most games, I will say that they get a pass. The coating on this mouse is really what kills it. You can see it has this kind of like cream color, and the coating is just so slippery. If you have sweaty hands, it is just going to feel, the mouse just feels wet as fuck all the time. It's so bizarre. But to the mouse's credit, it does come with grip tapes, which in my opinion are really good. I would say these are around the same as BTL grips, so definitely solid there. If you do find the coating bad, you can just throw the grips on it. It makes the experience a lot better. Copy to copy, it does seem like the Castor's coating performs a bit better, but you can see it just picks up like fingerprints and oils, like I don't even know the comparison. It just does it. So I would like to see them revamp these coatings, maybe make them a bit grippier feeling and less like sweat magnets. But yeah, I just want to get that coating complaint out of the way, because it is, I very rarely felt a coating that was like as unusable as this. Like I just could not get a consistent tight grip of the mouse for claw grip with the coating. Speaking of the shape though of the Castor, it is somewhat similar to the Final Mouse Starlight. I will say that it has flatter sides. It does not flare out to the sides as much. So something like a flat-sided Starlight, close to the Viper Ultimate shape, but significantly smaller. I wouldn't say that the Castor is going to be a huge improvement for claw grip compared to a lot of those other shapes. You can still see that there's not a lot of prominence in the back, not a lot of support. Personally, with 21x11 hands, I found the Castor to work best for a fingertip grip, a kind of a flat fingertip like the Rocket Jump Ninja style. The flat sides feel very nice for that, but it's not a mouse that feels significantly better in any way compared to the Pulsar X2 Mini for fingertip grip. So that is still my general recommendation. It's a few grams lighter. Not that that makes a difference really, but some of the other features like the coating, side button implementation, even the main click implementation just feel a cut above on the Pulsar X2 Mini. But if it is the style of shape you are looking for, it's not really a bad small to medium sized mouse. It's just nothing that really blew me away. The 57 gram weight does feel nice. It definitely is a bit like noticeably back heavy. It's not going to cause an issue or affect your aim really, but the weight balancing is not perfect, and the mouse does have a somewhat dense feel because the shell is so small. But like calling a 57 gram mouse dense, it's really, I'm too far gone. I'm not saying it's a heavy mouse by any stretch of the imagination, but like comparatively to the Viper V2 Pro, which is a few grams heavier, I still feel like the distribution and just the overall center of gravity is going to be lower on the Viper V2 Pro. I do feel like I'm nitpicking this mouse a bit much. Like overall in game, I was still able to perform fine with this mouse. It's just something that I know I won't really be coming back to because of some features that hold it back compared to similarly priced mice with similar features. Even like the Lamzu Atlantis, like that really shocked me. Like every feature was basically spot on, but there are definitely a few iffy things. Nothing that can't be fixed in the future though. And yeah, I don't know what else to say about the Castor really in terms of build quality. I don't have anything to note with my unit. If I do squeeze like to the point where my hand's shaking, I can feel a slight flex in the plastic, but it's nothing that I've noticed in game. Like the solid shell does feel really solid. There's no like rattling or creaking, even any bottom flex. So I'm happy with the build quality. Like I said, the mouse does have a somewhat dense feel to it. I don't know how much of that is because of the wet ass glossy feeling coating. God, I really do hate that. The Pollux though, no issues with build quality either. I did have a bit of variance between the clicks on the Pollux, to where the right click is a lot less tactile and lighter to activate than the left click. This mouse is using TTC Golds as well. The side buttons on this mouse are not really any better than they were on the Castor. You can see how high up they are. Like this is where, if I'm like fingertip palm gripping this mouse, this is where my thumb is, and I have to like move it up so much to hit the side buttons. It's pretty bizarre design choice. They're really small buttons in general, and this shape just does not work for my hand size. Like you can see this mouse in my hand compared to the Death Adder V3 Pro, which is my main. Like the Death Adder V3 Pro is a nice chunk of mouse. This is definitely a very small ergo mouse, so I just really can't appreciate the curves of it. You can think of the shape as something similar to the Fantech Go XD5 and the Ninjutsu Origin 1X, but a much smaller version of the Origin 1X. And if you do have very small hands and either palm or claw grip, it could be a great mouse, but that is obviously not me, and I feel like a lot of people with medium to large hands, this is just a shape you're going to want to avoid until they make a larger size. This is another mouse where I was just getting a very default type fingertip grip on it, so I just did not enjoy using the mouse a lot overall. The scroll wheel on both mice is very nice. I believe it's a TTC Gold encoder. It does feel kind of notchy, very good defined steps. The click is not heavy by any means, so the mice feel nice quality wise, and shell wise the weight balancing is much better on the Pollux in my opinion. The mouse does feel a few grams lighter when you're moving it around compared to the Castor, and the stock skates also do feel like they glide a bit better on the Pollux. But yeah, neither of these mice sadly are going to be anything that I'm going to give the seal of approval to, or I think are really top tier recommendations. I hope that the Pro versions, whenever those come out, maybe they will be lighter weight as well and feature some other improvements. Those mice could be really solid, but the classic versions for $90, it's not egregious, it's not like terrible, but I do think that there are generally better options. With the Pollux, it's a bit interesting, though, because this is a much more niche shape than the Castor, and if you do enjoy this shape, then it could really be a solid mouse. I just don't know how many people that's going to be. In terms of the 3395 implementation, I really have no negative things to say. I do have the software, and there is no option for motion sync, which makes me think it's enabled by default, which is really not an issue at all. These mice do come with a lot of extras, by the way. There's an extra set of stock skates. It does come with a gaming sleeve as well. I lost it, unfortunately, so I wasn't able to test it. And the grips, like I said. So it's not a bad package for $90. One thing I didn't mention is battery life, and it's pretty standard for a $33.95, no RGB. It lasts around a week and a half on a full charge, so nothing amazing, but definitely good enough. It kind of just died randomly on me. I don't know if there is any indication, and I don't believe it shows it in the software either. So there is that. All in all, these are nothing that really blew me away. I don't think they're the best mice on the market, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Vancer has planned in the future. And if you do think that these shapes are great for you, then really go for it. But yeah, that's about all I have to say. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Obviously, any other questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. And yeah, that's going to be all.